studied journalism. You're from a family that, I mean, I know your brother Vikram, who's a great writer, and your sister who's in documentary filmmaking, your mother who's a writer. But Bollywood, when you started, Bollywood was not like the cool thing,
No,
So
no.
was your mom even okay with you writing about Bollywood?
No, and now everybody will know how old I am. But when I grew up, Bollywood was very much sort of, it was just uncool. Like people like me, we grew up in, Nepean Road, Cuff Parade in Mumbai, and we didn't watch Hindi movies. My mother wrote Chandni for Yash Chopra and Prem Rog for Raj Kapoor, and we didn't even cross beyond Worli. So Bollywood was just another thing, and really, we weren't interested. And my journey into films, and I wasn't a great film buff either. I don't remember really going out and watching a lot of movies. But when I graduated from St. Xavier's College, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was an English lit major, and one of my professors said, why don't you just work at a magazine called Movie till you figure out what you want to do? I was instantly seduced by, not by films, but by the film industry, which is kind of a weird way into cinema, but it was, and some of that still remains, this kind of chaotic, colorful circus. And it was quicksand. I mean, that was 20 years ago, and I've never left.
Yeah. You should join Inc. for sure. So, you've written a lot of books. You've written about, for example, Shah Rukh Khan, and you didn't give quite a kind review to his Happy New Year. So, how does it work?
I'm off the Mannat party list.
Yeah. So, how does it work in the Bollywood world where you have to often write maybe not very pleasant things about your friends? Or people you worked with?
Yeah, Lakshmi, they're not friends. My husband and I are social hermits, and we just, so we don't socialize with the film industry, which I think would make it even harder. But it is difficult. In an ideal world in the West, the film critics are not also film journalists. So Manohla Dargis or A.O. Scott at the New York Times, usually, or Anthony Lane at the New Yorker do not also do profiles of stars. The problem is all of us here, we're both film critics and we have FaceTime. I'm interviewing stars and some of them find the sense of humor in it that I'm interviewing them and then they read my review and Saif said to me and I read it and I'm like, damn, I thought she liked me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is very hard. And what's even weirder is like our children all go to the same school, and so at sports days I'm hiding, and it's very awkward. It is very awkward, and but the thing is, the first thing you have as a film critic is your integrity and your honesty, because everyone has an opinion about cinema, and if you compromise that, then there's really nothing else you bring to the table.
Yeah.
So I just have to speak my truth as clearly as I can, and clearly, you're not in this business to make friends. I haven't made any.
Yeah. And, if you go back to the days of Bollywood of the past, both you and your husband have experienced being even threatened by the mafia. Actually, I know Anupama through Vikram, who's her brother, and his book is based a lot on your experiences. Share with us a little bit of what that period was like.
It was just surreal because this was around 2000. Mission Kashmir had just released, and it was actually shooting. It was under production. And this was a little after, if you remember, Rakesh Roshan was shot. Of course, Gulshan Kumar had been killed a few years before. And it was this extremely bizarre time where suddenly, and now it seems weird because everybody goes on and on about 100 crores and 200 crores, but at that time you did not want to tell anyone how much money your film had made because you became a target. And Vinod got a phone call and we immediately got police protection, and my son.
Sorry, he got a phone call saying pay up.
Saying pay up, and if you know Vinod at all, he's not a man who pays up.
Well, you married him, so obviously he's not somebody is easy.
He's a man who will abuse right back in the choicest Kashmiri Punjabi galis. So we ended up with men and guns, and it was very frightening and very bizarre. And after a while, it became sort of, there was a sort of
And you had
dark
young children
humor.
at that time.
You know, my son was, I think, 2 or even younger. But, you know, after a while, it sort of, there was a dark humor in it, because when you went to a preview show, there would be like all these lines of, you know, the best cars, Mercedes, and then there'd be all these men with guns, because everybody had security. And I remember one time, Vinod and I, and we still had, that was the police bodyguard, we went to an Iranian film festival, and so we watched, and he had to sit with us and watch these movies. And so we watched one, and of course it was beautiful but extremely depressing. And then we watched another, and then Vinod turned to me and said, you know what, if we watch one more, he's going to shoot us himself. It was just such a bizarre thing to go through.
To just have somebody hanging out with you.
Constantly. And you know, the guns at one point were just big. And then I said, can we just have smaller guns? You know, it's just so weird to have these men. But you know what, thankfully that was over. But the ironic thing is that I still have a burly man walking behind me, because now, thanks to Twitter and all the social media, I'm threatened not with such, you know, sort of grave consequences, but fans of these big stars. If I don't review a Shah Rukh film well, or if I don't review, especially Salman Khan, they just get after you. So,
Wow.
so after I reviewed Bodyguard, I had to get a bodyguard because they went ballistic. They were
Really?
just, you know, they got so angry, and my husband was a little concerned, and so I'm still walking around with burly men.
Yeah. What do you think is the future of film critics in India? You know, I mean, there's very few, I think, that are as respected as you, and it's not a profession really yet in India.
It isn't. I think what's very troubling, though there is a lot of really good writing. I mean, when I started, it was all very tabloidish sort of, you know, the only magazines, the only writing about films that existed, and this is hard to imagine now, was Stardust, Filmfare, Cineblitz Movie. There were 4 magazines, and mainstream newspapers did not carry anything about movies. I mean, can you imagine that now? Yeah. Now they run on films, you know, and film stars. But I think so there is good writing. There's a lot of books being written about cinema. So I think Bollywood has acquired what, you know, an anthropologist named Tejaswini Ganti calls cultural legitimacy. So there is a certain respect and there is good writing. But I think what's very problematic is the whole idea of paid journalism.
Yeah.
For me, you know, I mean, when I was trained as a journalist, I did journalism at Northwestern University. You know, we were taught that advertising and editorial are 2 separate things. That's church and state. You keep that separate. I mean, for me, it's very difficult to imagine that you get a paper in the morning which is entirely bought. And then where do you trust any opinion? So it's a very, I think, murky time for film critics. It's also a difficult time because really, who cares? I mean, everybody has an opinion and everybody has a platform. So what am I bringing to the table? You know, so I go through an existential crisis routinely. But I hope, and this is why I have a YouTube channel called Film Companion, and I've called it Film Companion because I think my attempt is to be your companion, that buddy you want to talk about movies with but perhaps don't have, or you know, need. So I'm hoping that I can shape your opinion in some way, or maybe lead you to the 2 films that you may not see. You don't really care what I say about Happy New Year. It doesn't matter. Right. You know, but if I can take you to Lunchbox, if I can take you to something else and help you discover something, I think I will have a purpose.
So if I were to ask you, who would be the director or a movie you would direct me to now? It could be from anybody, you know.
Well, I just saw Most Wanted Man at the Mumbai Film Festival, which I thought was very well done. That's Philip Seymour Hoffman's last performance. Yeah. And I saw the 50-year argument about the New York Review of Books. It's a documentary about the New York Review of Books and how that magazine has existed and put out really journalism which is independent. And for me, that was like such a eye-opener, because for me, the world we live in and the journalism we have in India right now is extremely problematic.
And I think the last thing I have to conclude on is that, what Anupama really stands for is if there's something she loves, no matter what, she doesn't let go of it. And partly, it was impossible for us to even have a chat because despite all these other things she does, you took on Mommy and said that there was a film festival that's iconic that was canceled because the sponsors pulled out in the last minute. And you jumped in 3 weeks before. And how much money did you raise? These days we can't talk about money.
3.5 crores.
The thing that's great is that I think despite all the success you and your husband have had and knowing all the right people in Bollywood, still it is such a struggle to keep up some of the institutions that we truly believe in.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what was really endearing for me about you. And I truly hope that both our paths cross a lot more, because what you've done for 3.5 weeks is just miraculous.
Thank
so
you.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.